We're going to take a look now at the Extrude tool. What the Extrude tool will do is give you the power to really do more extensive modeling. This is going to be the primary method you're going to use to model. And this is starting out by modeling from a primitive. Let's choose a cube here. Set it over there. And I'm going to make another one over here because I'm going to demonstrate something for you on both of those. Okay. Alright, we're going to leave that guy alone for a moment and go back to this one over here. And smooth shade all. Great. Okay, so now I've got my two boxes. I'm going to use the Extrude tool on this one over here. We're going to demonstrate something else with this one over here. If I am going to extrude, you can extrude, and again, extruding is creating new geometry. You're making new geometry. You're not just distorting the one piece you've got there. You're adding to it by increasing the geometry that you've got. And it also allows you to create new geometry and model in a more organic manner. And so you're going to have a lot of models that you create that are very organic in appearance, like animals, people, monsters, what have you, and those are very organic shapes. So extruding is going to be a very important tool for you to learn how to use. You can extrude on the face, the vertex or vertices, and the edges. Primarily though, you're going to probably do all of your extruding using the face. So let's go select that. Okay, now as I move my cursor over, you can see that I can select any, or if I hold the shift key down, many faces to work with. Let's just select one. Now let's look first of all at what the move tool will do. There's our move tool on the left here in the toolbar, and I select that. Okay, the move tool is turned on. Now I can take this move tool and stretch that piece of geometry up. But it doesn't create new geometry. It's just extending the one that I have. But I want to extrude and create new geometry. So let's turn off that move tool. And now I'm going to turn on the extrude tool. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do this. First of all, I'm going to show you where the icon is in the shelf. When you look at this entire interface for Maya, on the left here, these are your tools in the toolbar, but you see lots of icons up here, and this is what's known as a shelf. And you can customize these shelves or use the default versions, and you're looking at the default. So yours should look just like this when you launch Maya. Here we see, I'm going to hover the mouse, and there's the extrude tool. So I can select and turn on the extrude tool by just clicking on the icon in the shelf, or I can go to Edit Mesh, Extrude. Okay, now I've turned on the extrude tool. I know it's on because I see my tools here on the right that I can adjust for thickness, offset, and divisions. Let's first of all look at the divisions. Well, that's the subdivisions that you create. We're going to create, every time we extrude, we're going to add two new divisions. So every time I create, I'm going to add two divisions. Offset, I'm going to leave it 0. So as I extrude up and out from my cube, it's not going to get bigger or smaller. It's going to stay exactly the same size. Now I'm just going to play around with this cube a little bit and show you what happens with some of the different tools, because another interesting thing happens when you turn on the extrude tool, and that is you've created a combination tool. Notice the blue ring. Okay, we have a blue ring, which means that I can rotate and twist whatever it is I'm extruding. So before I actually try to make something a little bit here, let's just play around with the tool. And let's just go ahead and extrude up. Pull on the blue one. Okay, you start by pulling up on the blue arrow. I have created new geometry now. Let's click away and look at it. See, there's my two new divisions. They are exactly the same size as what we started, so the offset did remain 0. And let's go ahead and grab this guy here. And go to Component. And let's move it over just to reinforce what it is, the difference between the two, the Move tool and the Extrude tool. So let's go back to, let's raise you up a little bit here. Yeah, it should do it. Select face. Let's select that top face. And the Move tool again will just allow you to elongate or shorten the existing geometry. Notice over here I have new geometry. Let's select the face. What happens when I use the Move tool? Well, you're just going to extend the existing geometry now. But what if I want to continue to create my organic shape? Okay, so let's look at how we do that. Just move you out of the way. Let's go back to our guy here. And we're going to go back to face mode. Let's go to the top now. Okay, so we learned how to turn on the Extrude tool by going to the shelf or Edit Mesh. But what you're going to find happening is every time you extrude and then click away from your model or you stop the procedure, the Extrude tool turns off. So each and every time you need to extrude, you need to turn it back on. It doesn't automatically stay on the first time you turn it on. Notice I don't have any controls. I just have the face highlighted. Let's click Extrude again. Oh, everything's back. Okay. Just a quick reminder, the plus and minus keys will make your tool bigger or smaller. So if you're having issues where you're seeing something like this, use the minus key on your keyboard to adjust the size. Okay, I think that should show us everything. Okay, the Extrude tool is on. How do I know it's on? Well, I have my options here. Let's change our divisions now to 6. And I'm going to change the offset to 3. Just random numbers. Now, in order to extrude, what do we grab? That's right, the blue arrow. Let's pull up. Wow. We have 6 divisions, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. It's split in the middle there. Offset 3 got very, very tiny. So let's change the offset to 1. And we'll leave the divisions at 6. Okay, I clicked away. Oh, my Extrude tool went off. Turn it back on. Let's set our subdivisions here, our divisions to 6. Let's set the offset to 1. And how do we extrude? The blue arrow. There we go. So if you have an organic shape that you're creating that might be getting smaller the further away you extrude out from the main primitive, like an arm or a fingertip or a tentacle or something like that, where you may want to get smaller the further out you go, well, that's the way you do it. Okay, so now let's look at these other arrows here. So what do they do? Okay, well, we're not going to extrude up and out because we've already used the blue arrow. But we still have the green and the red one we can use. These will allow you to push it back and forth. Okay. Now notice though, it's now working like a move tool. That's right. It's because we used it once and it quickly deactivates. You can only use it the once and then you have to reactivate your extrude tool. Let's look at this blue ring. This allows you to rotate. Now notice as soon as I clicked on it, I'm able now to rotate in all kinds of directions. Let's click away. Alright, what if I want to continue to extrude? Well, let's say I want to go down here and start to create an arm or something coming off. Can I extrude using any of these faces? Absolutely, you can extrude using any face. Now, we can turn the extrude tool on by going to the shelf or edit mesh. Remember that? Well, here's a third way which is faster and which I tend to do. Because you get into this rhythm of working where you use the extrude tool, you extrude, and then the extrude feature shuts off. It just prevents you from extruding all over the place. It allows you to do this extrusion in a very controlled fashion. Well, it's a little annoying if I have to keep going up to the shelf or the menus along the top, so instead there's a hotkey. The hotkey is the letter G. Click G and everything comes back, and I can now start extruding. Hit a face, hit the letter G, extrude, twist and turn, rotate if I want. Are you seeing now that you're going to be able to create incredibly organic shapes with this? Now let's change the offset a little bit to 2. Remember, I have to return that extrude on because I already used the blue arrow once. And how do I do that? Hit the letter G. Okay. You need to redo your offset if you're going to change it. Let's do a negative. Let's do -1. Let's see what happens. Now my blue arrow is available, which means I can extrude, and I create a larger shape coming out. Now, can I extrude from any of the faces on this? Yes. Select a face, hit the letter G, extrude. Select a face, hit the letter G, extrude. And so on and so on. Hit the letter G. Let's change our subdivisions to, I don't know, let's say 9. Okay. Leave the offset the same. Okay. And on you go. Now let's say, for example, you are using the extrude tool in box modeling to create a basic human form. Let's go back to our cube we've got over here on this other side. Remember this little guy? Let's see if we can move you out of the way. I need to go back to component mode to move the whole thing. And we're going to just set you aside there. Okay, so let's look at this guy here. Select face. Great. What if I wanted to start to create like a human kind of a form here with my extrude tool? Well, that's exactly how you do it with box modeling. Hit the letter G. Okay. Divisions, yeah, we'll leave that. Extrude up, okay. And then let's do that again. Extrude up. And then maybe let's select both sides here. Let's hold the shift key down. I've got these two faces selected. Yeah. Excellent. So you can do mirrored type extrusions. Creating a little Gumby kind of a character here. Yeah, but you got 2 legs and I've got 1 face. Okay. Alright. Now you're going to want to create 2 limbs here. Edit Mesh. Interactive Split Tool. As I move my cursor over, can you see the little orange dot? Now I want to do that split, so I have, it will snap to the center, by the way. Click once here, go to the other side, it snaps to the center, click again, and then hit the enter key, and I've now cut the face. I'm using the interactive split tool. Okay, so let's go back to faces. Yep, and there we go. I'm going to select both faces. Extrude. Let's get a little more subdivisions there. And you can pull them out at the same time, or grab one face and extrude and off to the side, extrude, and then off to the side. Alright, so there's my little person. But I think you're getting the idea. What if I wanted to give him some feet? Edit Mesh, Interactive Split Tool. Let's give him a little foot down here and across to the other side. Okay, I'm done. Hit Enter. It's going to be an interesting, weird little shape here. Select face, and I selected the face, and then extrude out a foot. That's some foot. Okay. Those are the basics of how the extrude tool works and a little introduction to the interactive split tool.